Good morning. We're taking a look at the euro and its associated crosses, and you're looking at this market that tried yesterday to break up but couldn't. So again, the pressure is on the downside. This could have been the dead cat bounce. You get that after a move lower, you get a 3-day move higher, and then the market goes in that initial direction of the trend, which in this case is down. So dead cat bounces are quite common in markets. It's just their way of taking a pause for breath and retracing and getting rid of some of the overbought scenario which we saw here. And this wasn't looking great, as I pointed out to you at the time. So a dead cat bounce really does have these characteristics. 3 days of recovery, and on the 4th day the market starts to puke. Now we do have support from yesterday's low at 119.15. Like to take that out, like to break through 1886, and quite frankly I can see this coming back to 1830 to 1827. The reason being, you've got the 200-day moving average coming in at 1830. You've got the 70% fib coming in at 1827. You've got this low here coming in at 1835. So anywhere around this area is where the euro should head for, either today or next week. So you need to be aware of these levels, obviously. If we do take out yesterday's high, and that takes out the 9-day moving average as well, you're looking at 120.48 to 120.64. That's all around this area here. But if this is how I see it, a dead cat bounce, then the market should quite happily trade lower. So now we're going to go on to the euro sterling. Euro sterling's on the floor, as you can see, but it's been on the floor for a couple of days now. This low here at 85.38 is your key. If this doesn't break, then you've got a double base in the euro sterling, and you've got the technical indicators obviously very, very low. They haven't turned bullish yet, but they're at 9%. They can go lower, but this is where you go on reversal watch. Now that doesn't mean to say that the euro is going to go bounding higher. It may strengthen against sterling, but it could be sterling having weakness and the euro going lower, but sterling going further lower, if you see what I mean. So that would be great for that market. That would be as we would expect. So we'll take a look at Euro Swiss. Now we've talked about this at great length, the Euro Swiss. And you've got this again, this sort of pattern. You don't have the spikes that you've seen in the markets as a whole. Yeah, you've got 2 spikes here and there, but people's perception of Euro Swiss is very, very different to what it used to be. Euro Swiss used to have a low of 120 and quite happily stay at 120 for a few years, a good few years. Obviously that all changed in 2015, but when people tell me that Euro Swiss is strong, I'm like, not so much. It's not strong at all. Euro Swiss is very, very weak compared to what it used to be. So just, this is where you have to go back in your history. That's how you do it. You have to go back to your history. So Euro Swiss could go higher. Is it going to go back to the giddy heights that I saw? Probably not. But in any case, we still look at this one, just glance at it, and if you want to be long of this market, that's fine at strategic levels. So if it stays above 110.67, yeah, sure, why not? So let's look at the DXY now. Now, the dollar index, as you can see, went to 61.8 and backed away very, very quickly. So I'm out of half of my DXY position, and I'm still running the other half because I'd say never. That's my point. My overall feeling is that the dollar will get stronger. So therefore, I'm quite happy to hold the balance of my DXY until this occurs. Now, where we've seen the dead cat bounce in euros, you've got the same pattern in the DXY, but in reverse. Again, big move up, pause for breath, little bullish flag, and off we should go again. Now, I'm looking at 92.77 to 92.80 initially. I think the DXY's based. I think the currencies have topped, and I think the dollar is going to get stronger. Now, I'm quite open to being wrong, but nothing is telling me when I look at these charts that I am. So for that point, I will continue to sell currencies, buy dollars. That's my strategy. Now that, we're mid-March, it's been one of the quietest first quarters I've ever known. So, let's just crack on and see what we can do before the end of March. EuroCAD. Now, EuroCAD is being a little tinker, but where do you look for levels of support in this market? Where do you see? You've got to look at where we come from. You've got to look at what we did. EuroCAD double topped last year, and a big double top. And from that point onwards, the EuroCAD has gone lower. Now the measurement between here and here takes the EuroCAD down to 140-ish. So I'm looking at this area here, 142.63. Now, obviously I could be shouted down, and I'm quite open to that. That doesn't faze me at all. But you've got to look at these patterns, and you've got to look at what is driving the market. You just have to. And as EuroCAD has broken through this major support area here, so we're looking at the 151 to 150, it's broken. Now, you're only going to get this information from longer term charts. So look at them. They're there for a reason. People trade historically for a reason. Now, in the shorter term, if I drag that up and down, you're looking at this, and that you are 149.90, where we are now. So it's tried. If we break that, if we break 149.75 or 70, you're looking at quite a substantial move lower. So just be aware of that. So what do we see in the Euro Yen? Again, it's a bit like Euro Swiss, right? Up and away. So I scroll out and I look at 130.59. That's my target. It's not far away. You had that little breakout. We managed to break above here. Let's see what we do around this area here. If we break it, then there's a good potential for this market moving a lot higher. The 130 round figuritis is quite significant for this to break. We just need to see it maintain above there. Now, obviously yesterday you could have screamed double top. It had the characteristics of a double top, but the time frame I think was just too short. So let's see what it does. Keep your eye on it, as you should do if you're trading outright euros. You know, you need to know what they're doing against the other currencies. And euro, just against the dollar, doesn't give you an overall view, as you can see. Some are up, some are down, some are massively up. Look at this video, take care, and I will catch you all a little bit later. If I don't, have a great weekend.